Well. At some point, I think even Harry during that Nigeria trip had enough. We're going to watch Harry actually stand his ground against Meghan. For once, or maybe not once, a few times he's done it, but it has been so subtle that none of you have watched it. But in this instance that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show it to you on video, he really stood his ground, and you can see Meghan Markle's face for it. I mean, she is not a happy camper on that polo stage. She is not. She does not like to be relegated. And I can imagine, because in her mind, it's that visit to Nigeria was all about her. Because if you see the letter she sent to that criminal king, she didn't send it on behalf of Harry and Meghan. It was on behalf of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So let's get into this. And yes, you will see the video of Harry shoving Meghan off of the stage. Pushing her aside is like, no, this is my turf. Before we do any of that, beautiful people, my name is Paula M. And if you're first time coming here to my channel, thank you very much for joining. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel and the algorithm. Yes. So I just wanted to show you guys something, because I've heard a lot of people say, oh, the monarchy, they're taking the dignified way out, and they're not addressing Harry and Meghan Markle, and they're going to go away. They're going to go away. I want to show you something. This is a plant that I still have it here in my home. About a week ago, it barely had, I mean, you see this one already rotting away, right? But this one also started with just a little bit on there. And I thought, oh, I'll let it be, you know, maybe it's going to go away on its own. And, you know, yeah. Well, I had to cut the entire two leaves off because, you know, like, otherwise it would consume the entire plant. People like Harry and Meghan Markle don't go away. People think that people like Harry and Meghan Markle believe that silence is compliance. Silence is a way for them to continue or escalate their bullying or abusive behavior. Like any abusive person, they take silence as that go ahead, keep it up kind of, you know, endorsement. People like Harry and Meghan Markle need to be stopped. They literally need to be stopped so they can understand that what they're doing is wrong. If they don't, if you just hope and pray they're going to go away, that's not the case. We have been seeing how they've escalated their behavior. It started with Harry and Meghan sitting on a bench, a British prince sitting on a bench during election time, advocating for Americans to vote. What? If you don't understand the historical or the serious implication of that act, don't forget that the United States fought a war to get rid of royalty. And then you have a British prince coming to the United States telling them how and who to vote for. That went further, you know, up that. Now Harry's part of the Aspen Institute. Now Harry and Meghan went to New York, heavily guarded. And that security was paid for by the taxpayers. Remember when Meghan went to Harlem? I mean, she had a regiment of soldiers, literally, with machine guns in Harlem to help her. She went to the UN. Everything has been escalating. And then she started calling Congress people in their personal cell phones while blocking hers. And then she started sending letters to Congress, not as a U.S. citizen, but as a royal member of the royal family, using a royal title. Then they go to Canada under the guise of Invictus, and Harry's promising the chiefs, native chiefs, that he's going to come back next year to sort it out on behalf of the royal family. Then we see them with the royal logos at that hockey game that all of you call me out for when I did a video or a couple of videos about saying the importance of that, and that this was going to escalate to them going everywhere with those royal titles, because they push and see if there's any pushback. And because there's none, it's the green light for them. Right? It's the green light. We saw them go to Dusseldorf. Harry's fighting the courts to get I don't know what he's fighting for, because he does have security, guys. Harry has full-time security in the United Kingdom. And I don't know who's saying that he doesn't, because he does have full-time security. He really does, guys. So I don't even understand what this court case is about. So for people like Harry, they need to be stopped. They need to get pushed back in order for them to understand that what they're doing is wrong, because they're bullies. And bullies, there's only one way to deal with bullies, liars, and slanderers. And that's just my very humble opinion. Now, I want to touch upon something, because so many of you have come up here and said that Eugenie is the only skank who's helping Harry and Meghan Markle. Eugenie and Beatrice are both very sneaky. The only difference is that Beatrice is smarter than Eugenie, so therefore she covers her tracks better. She is not very public about her support. She's more dangerous than Eugenie, because Eugenie is dumb, just like Harry, the second child. So she goes about it smarter, in a smarter way, in a smarter fashion. But she is very much intricately linked to Harry and Meghan Markle. People think that Beatrice hasn't gone to see Harry and Meghan. Ooh, you would be mistaken if that's what you think, because they have seen each other. Now, there is a serious link, because these pictures popped out, and I actually published them too in my page, on my community page. This is Meghan Markle with Georgina Chapman, and you wonder who that woman is. She was married to Harvey Weinstein. She is Harvey Weinstein's latest ex-wife. This is in 2014, but Meghan Markle has been friends with Georgina Chapman since 2012, or even before that, when she was part of the Soho house, right? Now, these pictures are of Beatrice with both of them in different years, from 2009, and Harvey went to Beatrice's 18th birthday. I know what you're going to say. I know. But it wasn't Beatrice's fault. Yes, I understand that it wasn't her fault that her father was friends with those three skanks. But as an adult, she had choices. And she chose to remain friends with this man. Not only that, please be aware that everybody's come out and said that they knew what Harvey was up to, but they just ignored it. They went to the parties. Everybody drank his Kool-Aid, knowing full well that the Kool-Aid that they were drinking was fruit of the poison tree. They knew what was happening. So if you wanna clear Beatrice, and if you think that Beatrice is not, you're gonna be shocked pretty soon when things start to come out that Beatrice, that thing that in Netflix, Harry and Meghan Markle are filmed inside of the Queen's dollhouse, which was incredibly special to her, and she entrusted this to Beatrice to take care of it. Now, many people have said, well, maybe Meghan Markle and Harry recorded it without Beatrice's knowing. No. There was a full crew and camera filming there that they required permission to enter their royal grounds, especially the little house where they were. So they needed to tell where they were going, what they were doing, because they had a bunch of cameras. Do you think that the royal palace is, run around with all these cameras and stuff? No, that's not how it works. So for those people who say, oh, maybe Beatrice didn't know, she did know, and she allowed it. And as I said, she's just smarter than Eugenie and how she supports Harry behind the scenes, because she's playing both sides. She wants to see where things end. Now, I want to say something, because some of you started asking me about felony treason, which is awesome. I think it's awesome. Felony treason is when you wage war against the king of his heir. For example, if you violate the king's wife or his any of his female heirs. But it's not only that. It's also if you hinder the monarch's capacity to rule, if you interfere or try to disrupt the monarch's ruling, if you try to levy war against the king's or the monarch's counselors. For example, if you try to discredit the counselors, so the king to imply that they are not advising the monarch well. It's just not killing the king. That's not it, or the monarch. It's quite a few things, and those are felony treason. Many of you have asked me about, I'm just surprised that I got so many emails, so thanks for that. About the king and the children and Meghan Markle's children and what would happen if it's found. That is fraud. And if Charles is found that he has committed fraud against the crown, that is a criminal act. That is a criminal act, guys. And especially, I don't know if many of you know the history, but Charles I was executed. They're not just removed. They're executed. He was executed. Charles II, King Charles is, any king by the name Charles have had pretty bad reigns, because Charles II was even worse. He fled, and then there was no king afterwards. It has been a pretty bumpy reign for any king named Charles. And we're seeing it in this one as well. So Charles can I don't think he can be executed, because execution was abolished in the United Kingdom, but he can be removed from the throne very easily. I don't know if he'd be tried for criminal charges, because if he's complicit with what Meghan Markle did and Harry did, yeah, that is a form of felony treason, because they are hindering the functioning of the monarchy, because Charles is just a royal member. The monarchy is the institution. So if one of the royal members of the royal family does anything to attempt against the monarch himself or the position of the monarchy or the monarch, that is treason, because he's deceiving the United Kingdom and the government. The monarch cannot be deceiving Parliament or the government. That's what happened that's what happened with Charles I. You can't do that. And then Charles II tried to bring back absolute monarchy, and that didn't work well. So it is a form of treason. Treason is not just killing the king or trying to kill the king. No, there's quite a few things. Committing fraud against its own government and citizens, it is felony treason, because it's the king committing the treason. Okay? So he can be deposed. And there is already precedent with Charles I and also with Charles II. And when it came down to the succession line, I'm just playing these things for you to read. This is actually directly from the royal website. It tells you exactly what it is that's happening here and how it comes about. Okay? And how Parliament has the option not to offer the throne to the next in line, but to who they think it's better suited for the throne, like they did with Mary. When they offered the throne not to James, but to Mary. This is Parliament who did that. And don't forget, as I said, that the Act of Settlement, the 1701 and the 1689 Act, are still the constitutional, basically, basis for how the UK works. So if Meghan Markle has lied about having those children, if Meghan Markle has lied about having those children, because as it stands, the children have to be born. First, they have to be a marriage between a man and a woman. Then, secondly, the child has to be from both parents, right? And third, the child has to be naturally conceived. Why is that important? That is important. I did a whole video about this, guys, because in 2013, there was a debate about the Marriages Act allowing same-sex marriage. So this was debated, how that would affect the Succession Act to the crown. And they determined that it wouldn't affect it. So right now, as it stands right now, and you can pause this to read it. I'm going to post it over and over so you can see it. It has to be between a man and a woman, legally married in the Church of England, conceived naturally and born naturally. That means that no in vitro fertilization, nothing. It can't be, you can't get a turkey baster, put it up there. No, it has to be like doing it, And the child is born naturally, and it comes from the woman's body. There was even discussion that what if the Queen, for example, Prince Philip hadn't been able to impregnate the Queen? Would that mean that the child is still not eligible to the throne because it didn't come from Prince Philip? And they said that yes, if Prince Philip had not been able to sire any children with the Queen, then and she resorted to getting artificial insemination, that child would not be allowed to be in the line of succession. Okay, because what would happen if, for example, it's happened before, Charles II or some one of the monarchs. I think that the monarch prior to Charles I who died childless, or one of them, it went to the brother. No, Charles I didn't have any children. I think he went to no, somebody like that. I don't know who died childless. One of the kings who died childless, and he went to the brother, to the next in line. So, for example, if the Queen hadn't been able to, if Prince Philip hadn't been able to impregnate Queen Elizabeth, and she died childless, then the crown would have gone to Princess Margaret's children, because they're the next in line. You know, that the monarch, that would have been Princess Margaret was next in line, and she is, you know what I mean. So you know what I'm getting at. Just like, for example, what happened when the Duke of Windsor abdicated. He had no children, right? And it went to his younger brother, who turned out to be George the Sixth, and then he went to Princess Elizabeth, who now became Queen Elizabeth II. So it is very clear. And they even mentioned the Fertilization Act of 2008. I believe they were wondering how that would affect the succession line. And they said it's not going to affect it. That act does not apply to succession rules. So yeah, it would be huge, because there is no way that Rachel, Meghan Markle, or Harry have done this without the king or anybody knowing. Because, and many of you say, oh, but the laws, Paula. No, there are rules in places. Parliament is in charge of ensuring that the children legitimately belong in the line of succession. And how do they do that? We've all seen the easels put outside with the signatures of the doctors. People think, oh, that's a nice tradition. But it's not only that. It's not just tradition, it's mandatory. It's like an admin thing, administrative thing. It has to be shown where the children come, where they were born, and who brought them to the world, to verify that they are heirs to the body. Okay, so we haven't seen that. And you guys know that I wrote to Parliament, and Parliament said that they have no documents at all in regards to Archie. They have all the documents in regards to all the other royal children except Archie. And of course, forget about Lily. So that's insane. So there are rules and regulations already in place. They're just refusing to enforce them. They're turning a blind eye. But the rules are there, because in order for Harry to get a birth certificate or register Archie in his birth certificate, he had to submit the hospital's documents, or the hospital already would be in the system. So when Harry shows up with his ID to the registrar's office to get a birth certificate, they would say, oh yeah, just give me your details. Yeah, it's here. They know in which hospital the child was born, and they know which doctor or midwife delivered the child. But apparently nobody in the United Kingdom, not even the government, not even the royal household, know. So we have those two phantom children. I hope I have answered this. I mean, to the best of my knowledge. I will leave all the links in the video description, because I woke up to 42 emails from you asking me that, which I'm very happy and surprised. So now we're going to go into Meghan and Harry and their fight on the polo stage in Nigeria. Do you guys remember Harry, oh my God, being so lovey-dovey with Meghan in Florida, in that polo, how he helped her get up, get onto stage, get off stage? What a gentleman. Meghan standing right in the middle of the picture. She doesn't even allow that beautiful black lady to stand on the side, because she needs to be in the middle of that. She needs to be in the middle of the photo. She has to tell everybody where they go, because nobody can stand in her photo op, right? Watch his little video. See how Meghan clearly is with that titty showing dress with a huge slit. And she's getting on stage. Harry goes on stage and he completely ignores her. Completely. The black gentleman tries to tell Harry, you know what? Should we help her or what? Harry just walks on stage, turning his back on Meghan Markle completely ignoring her. Okay? And what do we have here now? Meghan tries to get on behind. She tries to get on behind. Like, you can see her getting behind Harry, getting on her own. Harry is not even acknowledging this woman. There were already conflicts when they got to that stage, clearly. So Harry's ignoring this woman completely. And you can see Meghan touches the black gentleman's back, but he doesn't move. He's not letting her in. And then she touches Harry's back. And look how Harry tells her, points to his left. No, you're going over there. You're going over there. And Meghan stands there angrily, because She wanted to be in between Harry and the black gentleman because he wanted to be in the center of that stage. This is Harry saying, I've had enough. I think that Harry at that point in time had had enough of Meghan Markle. Not because he was envious or anything, because there's a huge difference between Princess Diana and Meghan Markle. Princess Diana, when she first burst into the scene, everybody wanted to talk to her and see her. She wasn't pushing Prince Charles aside. Even Prince Charles said, I should split my wife in two because everybody wanted to talk to her. But this is not the case with Meghan Markle. And even Princess Diana said, I hate it when because my husband is there. And she even admitted later on that she felt really bad because that was a huge source of problem in her marriage and she wanted it to go away. But she couldn't help it because we all loved her. But with Meghan Markle, that is not the case. This is a woman. And also, we see Princess Diana walking behind her husband, waiting for him to get ahead of her first. Whereas here we see Meghan Markle touching Harry to let her go first. So I do believe that in this instance, Harry has said, you know what, bitch? Sorry, yeah, I'm sure he said that in his mind anyways. I've had enough. Because the whole purpose of that trip was not Meghan Markle showing her sternum, her skanky legs, her flat ass, and really skanky back. No. That wasn't the purpose of that. They couldn't even, and I think that Harry was angry because in his mind, he felt that it should have been more about Invictus. You would have thought that Meghan would have worn an Invictus shirt, like in jeans, when they went to that event, and Harry was wearing the Invictus shirt. And then they give her that thing on top. And she puts it on her lap like, ah. What was that all about? So it is interesting how the press didn't point that out. To see see how Harry leaves the wife behind, walking on her own, and Meghan grabbing onto that, I think it was like a handkerchief, that dress was horrible. And you can see her looking when she's getting on stage, trying to get in the middle of those two people because she needs to be in the middle. And Harry turns her back to her and says, you go here, you bitch. I'm sure he didn't say bitch again. I talk about that. But yeah. But what do you think? It is amazing how the cracks show, even with their own press. It is amazing how the cracks show. So tell me, do you believe Princess Eugenie is... You know what? Out of the two sisters, I find Princess Eugenie less harmful than Beatrice. Because Beatrice is sneakier, more sneaky. What do you think about the children? I hope I have answered to the best of my knowledge what it's there. And I'm going to leave the links for you to read them, okay? And why it's important we talk about this. And I know that many of the royal people tell you, oh, why do you keep talking about that? Because it hasn't been resolved. And if we don't keep talking, this is like Meghan. People think, oh, just ignore it. And they're going to go away. Meghan is not going to go away. They want to wear us down, wear us out too, to say, we're not going to give you answers. But I am escalating this thing because I am absolutely determined to find out about Archie's hospital, because that is an information that we are entitled to. I am Canadian. So, and Harry, it was actually quite refreshing to see him stand his ground for once.